What's the perfect way to spend a long, warm summer night, curled up with a movie that makes your heart race, melt, and ache all at once? Today, we're counting down 10 gay films that absolutely belong on your summer watch list. Let's get into it. Number 10, My Beautiful Laundrette.
We're friends. Bring us in. I will.
Kicking off our list, we're going back to 1980s London with a film that helped change the game for queer cinema. My Beautiful Laundrette follows Omar, a young British-Pakistani man trying to make something of himself in a city that doesn't make it easy. His uncle hands him a rundown laundrette and tells him to turn it into a success, even though Omar has no idea how to run a business, and the neighborhood around him is rough and racially charged. Everything shifts when Omar runs into Johnny, an old friend from his school days who's now drifting through life with a gang of street punks. The two reconnect, and what starts as a business partnership quickly becomes something far deeper. Together, they pour their energy into transforming the laundrette into the most glamorous spot on the block, all while their relationship blossoms behind closed doors. What makes this one special is how it weaves romance into a bigger story about class, race, and ambition in Thatcher-era Britain. This was one of Daniel Day-Lewis's early breakout roles, and he's mesmerizing as the rebellious, tender Johnny. If you want something with substance, style, and a little bit of grit, start your summer here. Number 9, Beautiful Thing.
Well, just remember, I gave you those brains, so think on it.
Always thought we had a lobotomy.
What did he say?
Explain it to her, Tony.
Well, lobotomy, it's like when you...
Yes, I know what it means, Tony!
Next up, we're staying in London for one of the most heartwarming coming-of-age stories ever made. Beautiful Thing takes place on a working-class housing estate in southeast London during a sweltering summer. It centers on Jamie, a shy teenager who skips school to avoid the bullying and the football games he can't stand. Right next door lives Steve, a sporty, popular boy who's dealing with an abusive home life. One night, after Steve is beaten by his father and brother, Jamie's warm-hearted mother lets him stay over. The two boys end up sharing a bed, and a tender, hesitant connection begins to spark between them. As the summer goes on, they navigate their feelings amid nosy neighbors, a soul music-obsessed girl down the hall, and Jamie's fiercely protective mom. The beauty of this film is how ordinary and real it all feels. There's no big tragedy looming, just two kids figuring out who they are in a place that doesn't always understand them. Soaked in sunshine and the music of Mama Cass, it's funny, sweet, and uplifting in a way that so many queer stories from that era weren't. It's the perfect feel-good watch for a warm summer evening. Number 8, Maurice.
Woman, I won't have it. Keith, leave it. Morris, don't make it worse.
Now we travel back in time to early 20th century England with a sweeping, elegant romance. Maurice is based on the E.M. Forster novel and follows a young man named Maurice Hall as he comes to terms with his identity in a society where being gay could land you in prison. While studying at Cambridge, he falls deeply in love with his classmate Clive, a charming intellectual aristocrat. Their relationship is passionate but restrained, built on stolen moments and unspoken longing. For a while, it seems like they might have a future together, but fear and social pressure eventually push Clive to abandon their love, choosing a conventional marriage and a respectable life instead. Heartbroken, Maurice struggles to suppress who he is until he meets Alec, a working-class gamekeeper on Clive's estate, whose raw and immediate connection crosses the rigid class lines of the era. What makes Maurice so powerful is its insistence on a happy ending in a time when queer stories almost never had one. The performances from James Wilby and a young Hugh Grant are exquisite, and the lush English settings make it feel like a romantic fever dream. It's a gorgeous, emotional period piece that proves love can win, even against the harshest odds. Number 7, The Way He Looks.
Giovana. Ai, é verdade, né?
Quem é que vai querer me beijar?
Aqui é o 211?
É aqui sim. Como é que se chama?
Gabriel.
Let's bring some Brazilian sunshine to the list. The Way He Looks is a tender coming-of-age story that won hearts at film festivals around the world. It follows Leonardo, a blind teenager who's craving independence and dreaming of a life beyond his overprotective parents. His days revolve around his best friend Giovanna, who walks him home from school and shares all his secrets. Everything changes when a new student named Gabriel transfers to their class. Gabriel is easygoing and kind, and he quickly befriends Leo, helping him with schoolwork and slowly drawing him out of his shell. As the three teens spend more time together, Leo begins to develop feelings for Gabriel that he doesn't fully understand at first. Because Leo is blind, his attraction grows through touch, sound, and emotional intimacy, giving the romance a uniquely sensitive quality. There's a quiet magic to the way this story unfolds, from a rain-soaked walk home to a stolen moment at a party. The film handles Leo's blindness and his sexuality with the same gentle honesty, never reducing him to either. It's a sweet, hopeful film about discovering yourself and finding the courage to reach for what you want. A truly lovely pick for summer viewing. Number 6, Weekend.
Out of my league or whatever. And yeah, we came back here, didn't we? And then you kissed me. Like you said, you took my shirt off.
At number 6, we have one of the most acclaimed indie romances of the last 15 years. Weekend takes a simple premise and turns it into something deeply moving. It all begins when Russell, a quiet, reserved lifeguard, heads out to a club one Friday night and goes home with a guy named Glenn. What starts as a one-night stand slowly evolves into something neither of them expected. Over the course of a single weekend, Russell and Glenn talk, drink, and open up to each other in ways that feel startlingly real. Glenn is bold and outspoken about his identity, while Russell is more guarded and unsure. The catch is that Glenn is leaving the country in just 2 days to move abroad. So as their connection deepens, both men know there's a ticking clock hanging over everything, and every conversation feels precious because their time is running out. Shot with an intimate, almost documentary-like style, Weekend feels incredibly authentic. The chemistry between the two leads is palpable, and the dialogue crackles with honesty. It's a film about how a brief encounter can change you forever, and how sometimes the deepest connections come when you least expect them. Quietly, devastating, and beautifully real. It's a must-watch. All right, we're halfway through the list, and it only gets better from here. If you're loving this content, do me a huge favor and hit that join button right below this video. Becoming a member supports Pride Cinema directly and helps us keep making content that celebrates our community. Number 5, Shelter.
I hear you've been hanging out with Sean. You know about him, right?
What about him?
Now, for a sun-drenched California romance that's perfect for the season. Shelter takes us into the laid-back world of surfing, following Zach, a talented young artist who's put his dreams of art school on hold. Instead, he spends his days working a dead-end job and helping raise his nephew while his irresponsible sister parties the nights away. Zach's one escape is surfing, and his life takes an unexpected turn when his best friend's older brother, Sean, comes back to town. Sean is an openly gay writer returning home after a breakup, and the two quickly bond over the waves. As their connection grows, Zach finds himself confronting feelings he never expected. Having only dated women before, he wrestles with what this new relationship means for his identity and his family. What makes Shelter so charming is its warmth. The Southern California setting is gorgeous, the surfing scenes are beautifully shot, and the central romance feels grounded and real. There's no dramatic tragedy here, just an honest story about love, self-discovery, and building a family on your own terms. It's the kind of feel-good movie that leaves you smiling, and it's an ideal summer watch. Number 4, God's Own Country.
Yeah, of course you have. We're not running a charity for waste and strays, like.
It's perfect for me.
Get ready for one of the most powerful romances on this list. God's Own Country is set in the rugged hills of Yorkshire, England, and follows Johnny, a young farmer, struggling under the weight of his isolated, exhausting life. He spends his days working the family farm, numbing himself with heavy drinking and meaningless hookups, with no real connection to anyone. Everything changes when a Romanian migrant worker named Gheorghe arrives to help during lambing season. At first, Johnny is cold and hostile, but as the two men work side by side in the harsh, muddy countryside, a raw, intense attraction develops between them. Slowly, Gheorghe's tenderness begins to break through Johnny's hardened shell, showing him a different way of living, one filled with care, intimacy, and hope. But family obligations and Johnny's own fears threaten to pull them apart. Often compared to other great romances of its kind, God's Own Country stands tall on its own. The performances are stunning, the landscapes are breathtaking, and the love story is achingly real. It's a film about healing, vulnerability, and the way the right person can change everything. Intense, beautiful, and unforgettable. Number 3, Brokeback Mountain.
It's time we start drinking together.
We've reached the top 3, and at number 3 sits a film that became a cultural landmark. Brokeback Mountain tells the sweeping, heartbreaking story of 2 cowboys whose love spans 2 decades. It begins in 1963 Wyoming, where ranch hands Ennis and Jack are hired to herd sheep up on the isolated Brokeback Mountain. And during their long, lonely months in the wilderness, the 2 men form an intense bond that turns into a passionate love affair. When the summer ends, they're forced to go their separate ways, each marrying women and building conventional lives. Still, the connection between them never fades, and over the years, they reunite again and again for secret trips. Living in a time and place where their love could get them killed, Ennis and Jack are trapped between their feelings and the fear of being discovered, leading to a story of profound longing, sacrifice, and heavy cost. Directed by Ang Lee, Brokeback Mountain earned massive acclaim and helped bring queer storytelling into the mainstream. The performances by Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal are extraordinary, full of restraint and quiet devastation. It's not always an easy watch, but it's an essential one, a monumental love story that broke barriers and still resonates today. Number 2, Red, White, and Royal Blue.
How's it going?
You've done some pretty stupid things in your day, but this...
Thanks for cake?
Time to lighten things up with one of the most delightful romances of recent years. Red, White, and Royal Blue is a swoon-worthy modern fairy tale that took the internet by storm. It follows Alex, the charismatic son of the President of the United States, and Henry, a handsome British prince. The 2 have a long-standing rivalry and can't stand each other, at least at first. After a very public altercation at a royal wedding threatens to damage international relations, the 2 are forced to fake a friendship for the cameras. But as they spend more time together, their fake friendship quickly turns into something genuine, and then into something a whole lot more. Of course, dating a prince when you're the president's son comes with enormous complications, and the 2 have to navigate politics, public image, and the looming threat of being exposed. This film is pure joy from start to finish. It's funny, sexy, and overflowing with charm, with 2 leads whose chemistry lights up the screen. It's the kind of escapist romance that wraps you up in warmth and leaves you grinning. If you want a feel-good love story to brighten your summer nights, this one is an absolute must. Number 1, Call Me By Your Name.
So what do you do around here?
Read books, transcribe music, swim at the river, go out at night.
Sounds fun. All right, later.
And at number 1, we have what many consider one of the greatest romances of the modern era. Call Me By Your Name is set during a golden, sun-soaked summer in 1980s northern Italy, and it's the very definition of a perfect warm weather watch. The story follows Elio, a precocious 17-year-old spending the season at his family's idyllic villa. Elio's quiet, intellectual world is turned upside down when Oliver, a charming American graduate student, arrives to assist his father with research. As the lazy summer days unfold, full of bike rides, swims, and long conversations, an undeniable attraction begins to blossom between them. They fall deeply for each other, savoring every fleeting moment as the summer slips away, knowing all the while that their time is limited, and the end of the season casts a bittersweet shadow over their romance. With breathtaking Italian scenery, a gorgeous soundtrack, and unforgettable performances from Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer, this is filmmaking at its most beautiful. It's romantic, heartbreaking, and utterly transportive, and the famous final scene alone will stay with you long after the credits roll. There's truly no better film to capture the magic and melancholy of summer, an absolute masterpiece, and the perfect way to top off our list. And that's our countdown of 10 gay films to fall in love with this summer. Which one are you watching first? Drop it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.